The sleeve cap will go in next, and this is really just a bias cut piece of baby flannel is what I usually use because it's a good weight. I'm going to demonstrate in muslin because I don't have baby flannel at the moment. So I'm going to just demonstrate this in muslin, but it is just a strip. Sometimes cotton batting is used on a sleeve head. It depends on the weight of the fabric and the drape that you're looking for. Sometimes you can use fleece, like a Polar Tech fleece is a really good fabric to use. You just have to make sure that whatever you use is stretchy. So in the case of this, which will be similar to the baby flannel, is I want to make sure that it's on the bias. So the purpose of it really is to kind of fill out that cap on the sleeve so it doesn't fall off, that it really just creates really a graceful fall in the fabric over the arm so that the sleeve takes that nice curve and falls nicely over the arm. Okay, so you're going to cut a piece. Most of you are making size 10 jackets, and typically an armhole for anywhere from an 8 to a 12 is 10 inches. So this is going to be 10 inches long by 2 inches high, and again, it's cut on the bias, on true bias, so that it gets a really nice stretch to it. If you're working on another size other than a woman's like 6 to 12, then what you'll do is measure from mid armhole to mid armhole. So just take it and walk your tape measure around. Again, it doesn't have to be exact, around from side to side, and take your measurement, and that will be the length of your sleeve head. The depth will still be 2 inches. So you want to take your sleeve head, fold it in half, notch it so that you know where the center is, and now line it up. It is, some tailors will say that they want a little bit more in the back. Some tailors will say just cut it in half. So again, depends on who you ask. This is now going to get stitched to the seam allowance, inside the seam allowance of the sleeve. So you can grab the whole thing, the body of the jacket and the sleeve head itself, and we're going to back tack it on. Now, I'm going to have you do it so that you sew it to the seam allowance and then it'll push out. Sometimes you will see people will sew it to the back of the jacket and then let it flip. And again, they're looking for a little extra lift in the shoulder. So if your fabric is kind of flat and soft, you may want to do it that way. So in that case, the sleeve head faces the body of the jacket and it gets stitched on. So it's getting stitched on this way, and then it will flip over. And that, again, that'll give you a little bit of a lift. But I'm going to have you, I think most of you have pretty traditional weight wool, I'm going to have you just line up the edge of the sleeve cap with the edge of your seam allowance for your sleeve attaching to your jacket body, and then we're going to back tack it in to the jacket. I've back tacked my sleeve head to my seam allowance, as you can see, and make sure you don't catch your shoulder pad. So your shoulder pad should be in already, and then this is the last, one of the last things that we'll do before we get into closing the jacket up. Okay, and then you can see when you pull over, you're not going to see much on mine because the it's muslin. I need something a little heavier. So it'll give you that nice shape so that when your sleeve falls from this curve, that it falls really gracefully. And that is, it's very simple, it won't take you very long to do, I'm sure you're glad to hear. So let's put in our sleeve caps next.